7 years ago, a single reckless night with the Vance heiress, Victoria, gave us our daughter. I dropped everything, chased her to Silver Lake, and married into the Vance dynasty as the resident trophy. The night Nina flatlined, Victoria raced off to nurse her first's fractured leg. She was disgusted by Nina's frailty, by the endless pill bottles, and she stayed away. She was equally disgusted with me, useless, she said, an ornament who added zero value to her empire. When Nina died, I stopped pretending. Victoria dropped to the marble floor, voice ragged, "Husband, can we start over?" In the small white casket lay my 7-year-old daughter, Nina. I looked wrecked, eyes bloodshot, staring at her colorless face. It was the second morning since the doctors had lost her, and Nina's mother, my wife Victoria, still hadn't shown. Vance relatives patted my shoulder. Nina was sick so long, poor thing. She's free now, try not to break. True. Heaven's jealous. Casey was lucky to have a father like you. I studied their rehearsed grief and knew exactly how relieved, how triumphant they felt. Nina had been born fragile, a congenital heart defect chaining her to St. Camillus most of her life. Though she was the Vance firstborn, the family kept its distance. Victoria withheld affection. Whenever I visited alone, Nina's eyes misted. "Daddy, when will Mommy stay with me? I miss her." "Sweetheart, Mommy's company is crazy busy. She'll squeeze out time soon. You promise if I swallow every pill and don't cry, she'll walk through that door?" Nina would nod, obedient, and I'd feel the stab of guilt because I knew Victoria would never come. Victoria was the golden child, straight A's, varsity everything, unable to accept imperfection in her own blood. She announced to the world that Nina was simply delicate, never breathing a word about transplants. Nina never tasted breast milk, never had a full day on Victoria's calendar. When I begged, she shrugged. "I popped in a few months ago. She's too frail, watching her depresses me. Let the doctors do their job." In truth, a full year had passed since Victoria last stepped inside the ICU or lifted Nina in her arms. Eventually Nina quit asking, quit hoping, and spent whole afternoons staring at fluorescent ceiling tiles. That first night 7 years ago, one forgotten condom made Nina. Victoria demanded marriage and I agreed. Walking through the Vance gate branded me the family joke, but I didn't care. One look at Victoria and I'd been lost. Nina's arrival drowned out every whisper. Still, I'm no fool. All these years she and her first met in secret, and I logged every lie. My patience has limits. 3 months earlier Nina's new heart had been sewn in our ticket, we thought, to life beyond hospital walls. Weeks after discharge, violent rejection slammed her. Last night the code blue notice arrived. Right before they wheeled her in, Nina tugged my sleeve. "Daddy, will Mommy come today?" I stroked her forehead, my own heart cracking. "Absolutely, baby. When you wake up, she'll be right here." She trusted me and let her eyes fall shut. I speed-dialed Victoria again and again until, on the 30th ring, she picked up. "Nina is crashing. Get to St. Camillus now." Her voice stayed cool. "Board project, can't bail. Nina codes every few months, she'll pull through." She hung up. Every callback dumped me to voicemail. Something inside me knew this time my little girl wouldn't bounce back. I sagged onto the freezing metal bench while the clock crawled. Eventually the surgeon stepped out, shook his head, and signaled me inside. My legs spasmed. I shoved the door and saw Nina's chest rise only shallowly. Realizing I was alone, her chin dropped in disappointment. To spare me, she smiled. She whispered 3 words against my ear, then slowly let her lashes fall, and stopped. "No, stay, sweetheart, please don't leave Daddy." I knelt, pounding the tiles until my knuckles split and bled, feeling nothing. My heart was already ashes. I dragged myself to the restroom and overheard my mother-in-law chatting with a cousin. My granddaughter was such a failure, best doctors, best meds for years, and still died. Pure dead weight. Still, thanks to the kid the old man handed Vance to Victoria, she served her purpose. The firstborn of Vance being a sickly runt? Embarrassing. Now we're finally free. They actually giggled, debating where to play cards next. Veins popped along my temples. I swung around and slapped Eleanor across the face. "You lunatic, Alex! You hit me?" she shrieked while relatives gawked. "Nina wasn't a chess piece for your dynasty. If you can't love her as a grandmother, then shut your damn mouth." Our shouting drew a circle of onlookers. Eleanor stepped forward, ready to explode just as Victoria finally appeared after 2 days of radio silence. She seized my wrist and yanked me aside. "With half of Silver Lake watching, you throw a tantrum? Your face is my face, don't disgrace the Vance name. Our daughter just died. If you won't respect her, at least let her rest in peace. Your mother called Nina dead weight, she's Nina's flesh and blood grandmother. How could you say something so vicious? Shut your mouth. No matter what, you don't get to hit people. Apologize to Mom right now." "Not a chance." "Then I'll teach you, you ungrateful wretch, myself." A crisp slap rang out, my right cheek burned and my ears buzzed. I stared at her in disbelief, a sour ache flooding my chest. Jordan rolled her eyes, turned away, and went to comfort Eleanor. Everyone around us laughed at my expense, snickering every few seconds. Every ugly face etched itself into my memory. When the funeral ended, Jordan still played the perfect host, inviting the relatives to lunch to keep connections alive. I went back to the empty house alone. In the living room sat her favorite Winnie the Pooh. I had wanted to take it to the hospital so she wouldn't feel lonely, but she had shaken her head. "The hospital smells awful and there's crying everywhere. I don't want her with me there. She can wait at home like a good girl until I come back." Remembering that, I hugged Winnie and sobbed until I fell asleep. When I woke, I packed daughter's things, hailed a car, and took them to my own place. On the way back a man called after me. "Alex, right? I'm Jason, counsel for Vance and Victoria's childhood sweetheart." He stressed the last phrase. I ignored him and kept walking. "On the day your daughter died, Victoria was with me. A rebar fell on me while she was touring the site. She panicked and stayed by my bed until the next morning. I told her to go to your daughter, but she refused. Maybe she thought I mattered more. I understand you're hurting, but honestly, I'm quite happy. Now that the kid's dead, you've finally run out of excuses to cling to Victoria." I said nothing. I turned and walked straight at him. His eyes mocked me. I broke into a run, slammed a flying kick into his chest, and sent him crashing into the wall. He grunted, face whitening as he tried to scramble up. I lunged, punched him flat, then grabbed his head and slammed it against the pavement. "You dare hit me? I'll sue your ass into prison. Go ahead, see which of us ends up in cuffs." I dusted off my jacket, stepped over the groveling Jason, and left. 03 That evening Jordan actually came home, immediately raining curses on me. "You attacked Taylor? His nose is broken and he has a mild concussion." Impatience twisted her face. "You've got no money, no clout, no job. Are you itching for a jail cell? If I hadn't stepped in he could have locked you up for years. Why the hell go after him because he's my ex?" A year ago, on Nina's 6th birthday, I had begged Jordan to take her to the amusement park. She finally agreed. But on the day itself she vanished because Jason had come back, the first who once abandoned her to chase his dreams overseas. Nina waited at the gates until midnight, her little face red from the cold wind. Mommy never showed. The next day Nina burned with fever, needles, and 4 lines in her tiny arms at the hospital. She never even received an apology or an explanation. Nina's gone and we're all grieving, but every eye at Vance is on me right now. Watch your step. I fought tooth and nail to reach the president's chair as a woman. Can't you show a little understanding? Before I could answer, a phone call whisked her away. She had always been like this, every word, every act, indifferent to how I felt. I took out Nina's photo and whispered, "Sorry, baby daddy's about to let you down." The next night I was heading out when I heard the smart lock chirp. Jason walked in carrying Jordan, who reeked of alcohol. 1226 The password still hasn't changed. That's the day I confessed to Victoria 10 years ago. Looks like she's always remembered. The word stabbed me. I'd once asked to change the code because Jordan kept forgetting Nina's birthday, but she refused. Now I knew why some memories ranked higher. Jason set Jordan on the couch and strolled the house like he owned it, gauze still wrapped around his head. At the door of the first-floor master suite he smiled. This room looks exactly the same. The day I flew out, Victoria cried and told me a place here would always be mine. She wasn't lying. Our bedroom was on the second floor. I'd never understood why we didn't use the larger, more convenient master downstairs. Jordan had brushed me off, no explanation. Now it was clear, the locked, forbidden room preserved her memories with Jason. Every trace in this house honored someone else. She couldn't bear to change the code, couldn't bear to change rooms, couldn't bear to erase those memories. So all my years of devotion had been fed to dogs, while I stupidly thought a sincere heart could warm her. You're useless to Victoria now, no job, nothing. I'm Vance's legal counsel, what are you? A trophy husband. Get lost. On the sofa, Jordan mumbled in her stupor, toward Jason, do you have any idea how hard these years have been? I missed you so much, Taylor. In that instant my heart plunged into an abyss. Jordan, I won't spare you another shred of feeling. Jason looked at me like he'd won. I gave a cold laugh, placed the divorce papers I'd prepared on the table, and walked out. 04 When I met up with my oldest friend Chase, he pulled me into a tight hug. The prodigal sterling heir finally comes home? Nina had adored Chase. He'd trekked to the hospital every couple of days to make her laugh, no matter how long the drive. He'd been a ray of sunshine in her ward life. I hugged him back and said, start unwinding every project we slipped into, Vance. Pull the funding now. Chase stared at me, stunned. This move would snap Vance's cash flow in half and probably bankrupt them. You sure? Yeah. I nodded. He didn't say another word, just reached over and gave my shoulder a quiet pat. Jordan had convinced herself I was nothing but a penniless trophy, never stopping to wonder why I kept showing up at the same A-list galas she haunted. She never asked why, right after our wedding, Vance suddenly landed 8-figure deal after 8-figure deal, or why product sales tripled then kept climbing for 7 straight years. In her head I was the loser who lived off her platinum card. I hadn't hidden a thing, I simply saw no reason to announce it. If she had ever cared enough to run a 5-minute background check, she'd have known exactly who I was. I'd even taken Nina to meet her grandparents, my parents, long after they were gone. The irony tasted bitter. For her I'd walked away from every project I'd built in Silver Lake, moved to Riverdale, and played the Vance family's trophy for 7 solid years. And the thanks I got was a reputation as a gold-digging joke. I wasn't swallowing that insult. 05 A few days later Jordan asked to meet. She slid a slim folder across the cafe table, divorce papers, and flicked it at me like it was diseased. Why the divorce? Her eyes were bloodshot, exhaustion etched in every line. She hadn't slept. Understandable. Vance's biggest partners were pulling funding and killing projects in waves. As the CEO on the front lines, she had to be drowning. Vance is bleeding. I'm the sitting president, and every trust fund vulture in the family is circling. With daughter gone, they're all waiting to watch me crash. Our marriage needs to look solid. I gave her a thin smile. And that concerns me how? I don't love you anymore, Jordan. Game's over. Get lost. Her face froze, then flushed with anger. Say that again, Alex. I locked eyes with her and spoke each word like a hammer blow. 7 years. I'm done playing. Stop the theatrics. Nina would never forgive you for divorcing me. She pulled out a framed photo Nina on the day she left St after her heart transplant, begging Jordan to take one real family picture. The 3 of us, hand in hand, Nina beaming. Jordan put on a mask of grief. She never got to see the print. I'm hurting too. Come home, Alex. I need you. I slapped the frame out of her hands. Crystal glass exploded across the tiles. Don't you dare speak Nina's name. Where were you the night she coded? Hovering over Jason, right? Your beloved first. Jordan flinched, then regained her composure. So you know. But nothing happened, we're spotless. Doesn't matter and never did. Sign the papers, Vance. Goodbye. She chased me down the block, shouting my name until her voice cracked. I didn't feel a thing, I just slid behind the wheel and left her in the rearview mirror. For 7 years, whenever the world kicked her, I'd been the first to arrive with Band-Aid and battering ram, quietly erasing anyone who stood in her way. I'd fed her ego until it ballooned one more reason she couldn't stand the thought of losing me. But Jordan, remember this, you don't get a vote this time, because I'm the one walking away. 06 I filed the next morning. Jordan stayed out of sight. Chase told me she was barely holding it together. Tomorrow the board meeting would decide whether she kept her crown. I sipped red wine and stared out at the city lights, picturing the shock on her face when she saw me walk in. The following afternoon I pushed open the doors of the Vance boardroom. Jordan and Jason swiveled around, identical disbelief plastered across their faces. I smiled, strode past them, and settled into the empty chair in the second row. You're lost, pal, Jason snapped, half rising. One of the older shareholders cut him off. Allow me meet Alex, Vance's second largest shareholder and CEO of Silver Lake's flagship group. I dipped my chin in a polite nod while Jason's complexion went the color of old ash. He dropped his gaze to the table. The vote ran like clockwork. With my proxies, Jordan was stripped of her title permanently. Her cousin Victor, grinning like a lottery winner, accepted the gavel. I applauded with sincere enthusiasm. Under his command Vance would bleed out faster, leaving me free to swallow what remained. 2 birds, 1 stone. As the room emptied, Jason scurried after me, shoulders folded in. Alex, about that punch I am letting bygones be bygones. We're square, right? I only came back because I thought Jordan would hold the throne. Turns out she's mediocre. You and me? Nothing to discuss. Pretend I'm heir. I turned toward the shadows. You can come out now. Jordan stepped into the light, face thunderous, and slapped Jason so hard the crack echoed off the marble. Disappear, Jason. You make my skin crawl. He bobbed his head like a broken toy and fled. I started for the elevator. Jordan caught my wrist, something she had never done. So it was all a lie? You're Sterling's head? Why didn't you tell me? Was watching me gut you fun, Jordan? Did it feel good? My grandfather only believes in men. I clawed past every cousin, every brother, worked 1,000 times harder just to sit in that chair. Why crush me like this? Her eyes were fire and tears, voice shredding with every word. I gave a cold laugh. You always said the same thing. Once I sign one more stack of deals, once the sales double again, I'll go see Nina, I'll come home and stay with you. So I believed your lies again and again, pulled strings for you again and again, yet what about you? When Nina got sick you never showed, and I had to swallow my pride and tell her, Mommy's busy, baby, be good and she'll come. Busy where, exactly? Busy in Jason's bed? Even now you two keep lying, thinking sweet words will prove you're innocent? Hilarious. You think I'm stupid? That I don't have proof of your affair? I was just fooling myself, making excuses for you, sure that one day you'd come to your senses and come back to me and daughter. I was the biggest idiot of all. Jordan sank to the floor, covering her face and sobbing. The old me would already have been heartbroken beyond words. But I already told you that was the old me. I pushed her hand away and walked past. Softly she asked, Husband, I was wrong, can we start over? No. There would be no starting, there was only ending. 07 Jason hitched himself straight to Jordan's cousin Victor's older sister and the current CEO. I demanded Victor boot Jason out of Vance, only then might I consider canceling the pull funding. Within days Jason was jobless, blacklisted across the entire industry. The force of capital is unimaginable, ordinary people can't fight it. I respect every striving average Joe, because I'm one myself. But if someone blames me, hurts me, mocks me because of that, I'll make them pay. Jason wanted to leave the country and start over. How could I give him the chance? I had people dig up every loophole from his days as a litigator. The man who once boasted he'd send me to prison ended up a court-declared debtor, every luxury purchase frozen, passport seized, no way out. He's stuck doing odd jobs to pay off his debts, a shining fall from elite lawyer to deadbeat. Jordan's life isn't much better. She's already discarded by Vance, people drift away from her one by one, her parents included. Maybe her cold-bloodedness runs in the entire Vance bloodline. Word is she started drinking, wrapped her car around a pole, and landed in the hospital. She's become Vance's stain, everyone scrambles to distance themselves. The once untouchable Ice Queen has crashed to earth, a rat everyone wants to stone. One day Chase asked me, after all this, will you feel any better? I said, I won't. Even if she suffers tenfold, can Nina come back? Can the mother love she lacked since birth ever be repaid? Chase's eyes reddened, he said nothing, just exhaled a heavy sigh. 08 today marks 1 month since daughter died. I came to Hillside early, carrying her favorite baby's breath. Near the grave I saw a familiar figure, Jordan. She'd lost weight, standing blankly in front of Nina's headstone. Another bouquet of baby's breath lay there. Do you know why Nina loved baby's breath? I asked, walking over. A spark flickered in her eyes when she saw me. Because the flower means love? I shook my head and laid my flowers on the grave. She loved it because you did. Among them she adored the purple baby's breath, its language is longing. I looked at Jordan. She spent every day missing you. Jordan's face froze, guilt flooding it. I'm sorry, Nina, I am sorry to you too. If I could trade my life for hers, I would. I ignored her and kept speaking. Do you know what daughter told me before she died? Jordan shook her head. She said, don't blame mommy. I really, really love her. Even if she never comes, even if she doesn't love me. See? Even a 7-year-old could tell you didn't love her how wrong she felt. She also said, Daddy, take care of mommy, make her happy and safe all her life. If I can't stay with her, then you must love her for me. I stared at Jordan. You carried Nina for 9 months, why couldn't you treat her well? What gave you the right not to love her? My eyes were bloodshot, I jabbed a finger at her heart. Jordan gazed back, cheeks streaked with tears. Has that heart of yours ever beaten? How can it be so cold? When Nina was dying I begged you to come back, yet you stayed with another man without a flicker of guilt. I turned to Nina and spoke slowly. I'm sorry, my sweet Nina. Daddy couldn't keep his promise to you. I hope your next life will be in a home full of happiness and love. With a dad who adores you, and a mom who cares for you every single day. Jordan couldn't bear it, she dropped to her knees, slamming her forehead against the ground over and over, wailing, Nina, mommy's sorry. Every time you got sick I thought you'd pull through again. You were in and out of the ICU so often that I felt smothered, the pressure from the company, from you, so I kept running away, hiding from visits, hiding from you. But why did my terrible self still have your love, your constant thoughts of mommy? It's mommy who failed you, mommy was too selfish. She sobbed until her voice cracked, blood trickled down her forehead. I knew she felt no pain right then. The pain would last the rest of her life. I turned and left. In this game no one wins. From the start I was the biggest loser, I lost my most precious treasure. I hate her, and I hate myself. Jordan will suffer, and so will I. Snowflakes began drifting from the sky. I remembered Nina once telling me, Daddy, when I get better, let's go see the snow together. But now, I no longer have anyone to watch the snow with. Sweetheart Nina, Daddy really, truly misses you. From then on, I shuttled between Silver Lake and Boston. I poured every hour into work, because the moment I stopped, daughter's face filled my mind. Under Victor's figurehead command and my careful nudges, Vance's profits shrank every single year. For 2 straight years I replaced every board member who carried the name Vance. Each of them had once sneered behind my back that I was good for nothing, shameless, living off a woman. 5 years later Victor officially fell, and Vance crowned a new dynasty only to become a sterling branch in Boston. From that day on, not a single director or shareholder bore the name Vance. The family faded fast, vanishing from the society pages. For a long while I heard nothing about Jordan. But whenever I visited Nina, a fresh sprig of baby's breath lay on her headstone. Eventually Chase told me Jordan had taken a job as groundskeeper at Hillside. I marveled that she'd accept such a post, she who'd been raised in velvet and gold. Maybe it's penance, Chase said. To stay near Nina, to try to make amends. Why don't you go see her? I shook my head. Later he told me she'd left to teach in Maple. The girl who'd never had an ounce of patience was now shaping small minds every day. It stunned me. 7 years slipped by before Jordan and I crossed paths again. We reached for the same bouquet of purple baby's breath at Petal, then both offered it to the other in the same breath. We looked up and found a ghost from the past. Her presence was nothing like 7 years earlier. Where once she'd been sharp as frost on a glacier brittle, cutting, she now felt like gentle winter sun, soft and quiet. Are you, all right? She asked hesitantly. Yeah. You? I'm fine. I lifted the flowers and handed them to her. No, keep them. She declined. Then her gaze faltered. She'd spotted the ring on my left hand. Take them. We both know what purple baby's breath means. With a small, rueful smile she accepted the sprig, and we stepped outside, neither of us speaking. My car's right here. Guess, goodbye. Jordan nodded and kept walking. Watching her go, I couldn't help calling, I've already forgiven you, so you have to honor Nina's wish, live the rest of your life happy. She paused, nodded once more, and walked on lighter, I thought, than before. Clouds drifted apart, the sky turned a clear blue. We would no longer cling to yesterday. From here on we each had a brand new life to live. Finn, extra, Jordan sighed. 01 The first time I met Alex I was a wreck. Jason had just dumped me and flown to Miami, he'd lost the VP race to Victor, and my parents scolded me until I was raw. I drank myself blind in the ballroom. This was a masquerade, no one would know I was Vance, no one would care about faces. So when I threw up on Alex I didn't apologize, I yanked him down to drink with me. Depth-charged shots, vodka, overproof rum, anything fierce enough to scorch. Which is why, waking up naked beside him the next morning, my first thought wasn't guilt, it was God, my head. I tiptoed out, telling myself it had been a game. Then life copied TV, one night, straight to a positive test. I wanted to end it, but mother and father begged me to keep the baby. If it was a boy he'd be Vance's first grandson, bigger slice of the estate. I didn't care about money, I needed to win. I planned a quick marriage. Alex came looking for me. When I dropped the news he grabbed my hands, beaming, refusing to let go, and moved into my house that very night. Probably after the fortune men like that circled me since grade school. Still, it felt easy, he listened, he pampered. I'm cold, I hate crowds, so he built me a private library and a gaming lounge, filled them with the books and titles I loved. And secretly maybe he was my lucky star? After our marriage I landed several 8-figure deals, rising from director to VP to CEO of Vance. During confinement, whenever pain hit, he stayed glued to my side. I thought he might melt the ice I wore like armor. Then Nina arrived, and doctors warned her heart was failing, she might die young. I couldn't face it, I ran wild. If I never held her, never let her crawl inside my heart, she couldn't break it by leaving, just like all the kittens and puppies I'd buried as a child. Let her have a father who adored her, that would be enough. 02 After Jason came home I rarely returned to the house. I didn't want to sneak around with him while still soaking up Alex's tenderness. Marriage felt like shackles, pressure crushed me from every side. That scrap of thrill became the only vent left. Alex begged me over and over, come see Nina. I refused. I couldn't look at her fragile, bloodless face, I'd rather stay sealed in my own bubble. Yet I still regretted missing her final breath. I regret that my stupid, radical choice cost me the husband and daughter who loved me most. 7 years later Alex stood in front of me again, unchanged, gentle as ever. The band on his finger stung like bleach on an open wound. I had no right to ache. Still, I'd followed every scrap of news about him, asked anyone for crumbs how he looked, how he felt. I only wanted to know he was alive and well. For 7 years sleep deserted me. Night after night Alex's tear-streaked face and Nina's disappointed eyes flickered across the dark like a broken film reel. But tonight I slept like the dead because Alex said he forgave me.